Hello, this is my channel, Weaving Weird Studio, and my name is Sig. Welcome to part 5 of my Learn to Crochet series. In this video, I will show you how to work edge stitches. If you find value in this video, you can help us grow by clicking on the like and subscription button. Don't forget to tap the notification bell for instant access to my newest content. All right, let's get started. Hello, I'm glad you could join us today. So today we are discussing edges and how to best work an edge. And there's typically two ways in which to do an edge or work an edge. One is going to be the outside edge or working on the outside edge, and the other one's going to be the inside edge or working on the inside edge. And really, this is basically two different approaches to working your piece for different reasons. So for example, your outside edge is something that you're typically going to see in garments, while your inside edge is going to be something you typically see in, let's say blankets. Now in crocheting today, things are starting to change, and you really see different crocheters and different artists have a preference for which edge they want to work with and with what project they're working that edge with. And so it really comes down to preference. And so I'm going to show you what I'm actually talking about. Okay, so I've got a double crochets, and we're going to make that chain, that turning chain, do 3 chains. I'm going to turn, and then on the inside edge approach, this turning chain right here actually becomes a stand-in for a double crochet. So when I do my second double crochet of the row, I'm just simply going to go to the next stitch and do my double crochet. And so this is called the inside. Now, the thing that some people have a problem with as far as the inside edge approach goes is they feel that it gives kind of a biggish hole. Like the stitches aren't as tight together as they would like them to be. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you can see this is the inside edge that's being a stand-in for a double crochet stitch. And you can see how the gap between this edge and this double crochet is kind of big. You get kind of a little bit of a hole there, right? And as compared to when you come down here to the end and you see the 2 double crochets next to each other, and that's a much tighter coupling. So we're going to do this again, 2, 3, right? I'm going to turn. Now, when they talk in terms of an outer edge, like working an outer edge, what happens is your 3 chain turning chain is actually simply used as just that, just a turning chain. So what you would do then is you would go ahead and then you would go ahead and crochet, do your double crochet right there in that same stitch as your turning chain. So that would be considered one stitch, right? And then you would continue on as normal. So you can see in this stitch right here how much tighter this is. And you can see why that one might be preferred for a garment, especially if that's where 2 seams are going to connect or be stitched together. It'll help to prevent from having an extra hole, if you will, in the fabric. And then this right here is the inside edge effect. And you see that done in a lot of blankets. Usually that's that's because, you know, it's for brevity's sake. Some people like that look, especially if they're doing like an open, kind of an open weave or an open design sort of a stitch. So then the larger hole is going to play nicely with a more open, airier afghan. And so in that case, you might prefer to go with that particular stitch. It's all going to really very much depend on your preference, your experience, what you're actually making, and the look you're trying to obtain. There again, many, many nuances. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So again, the inside, working the inside edge means that this turning chain acts as a standby or a stand-in for a double crochet. And when you're doing your work with an edge that you are working, the inside edge that you are working, you count that as a chain or as a stitch to work when you get back around to that point. So then you go and you'd continue on. So your first real double crochet stitch that you would make when working on the inside edge is going to be the second stitch from the hook. However, if you're working on the outer edge, then that simply means this chain, this 3 chain stitch here is the outer edge turning chain, and it's not considered a stitch, and it'll never be considered a stitch. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do your double crochet in that, and that will be your stitch. So you do your double crochet in the first stitch from the hook, which will then give you a tighter weave. Now, one more thing that this does do for you, however, is a reason for why people might like an inner edge, particularly for a blanket, is because you're going to actually, I don't know if you can see that, you're actually going to have a straighter edge, right? And that's typically preferable. However, if you're using if you're doing the outer edge approach, you can see how you have a little extra on the outer edge right there. And then right here where we've done another outer edge, you're going to see that it kind of bumps out a little bit too. And so if you were doing a garment and you were to put them together, you can almost see that they would almost lock together like a little puzzle. Like putting together like little puzzle pieces. That's actually pretty preferable as well when you're seaming a garment together, because it really helps make an invisible seam, or as invisible a seam as possible. But for a blanket, it's not always preferred because you're going to wind up having this kind of wavy edge, as you can see there. So those are the difference. Those are the 2 different types of edges you can work. You can work the outer edge, or you can work the inner edge. And now you know. So I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, stay creative. And if you liked the content or found it of any value, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and tap on the notification bell so you can be updated on every new video that comes out. Thanks again. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.